On the night before Baghdad burned, 3 trucks rolled quietly through the desert wind. Inside them, $1 billion in cash. No alarms, no masks, no guns. Just a single handwritten note, signed by Saddam Hussein himself. By sunrise, the money and the men were gone, and the world's most powerful dictator had just committed the largest legal bank robbery in history.
March 18, 2003. The U.S. invasion was hours away. Baghdad's air was heavy with sand, fear, and oil smoke. Saddam Hussein, the man who once called himself the Lion of Babylon, knew the end was coming. Inside the Republican palace, his empire of loyalty was crumbling. Generals defecting, ministers disappearing. He'd ruled Iraq for 24 years by fear, but now that same fear had turned inward. For decades, every dinar, every shipment of oil, every dollar that entered the central bank was under his control. And that night, he decided to take it all back.
At 3:45 a.m., the governor of Iraq's central bank was woken by the pounding on his door. 2 black Mercedes waited outside. From the back seat stepped Qusay Hussein, Saddam's younger son, and his father's shadow, Abid al-Hamid Mahmoud. They carried a single piece of paper bearing Saddam's signature. It read simply, "Deliver all available foreign currency, immediately." The governor didn't argue. In Saddam's Iraq, an order wasn't questioned, it was survival. The vault doors groaned open. Stacks upon stacks of $100 bills, bundled in red tape, sealed in iron chests. By 4 a.m., the loading began. Guards moved in silence, their boots echoing through marble halls. $900 million in U.S. currency, $100 million in euros, 1/4 of Iraq's entire foreign reserves. It took 3 trucks to carry the weight of a collapsing regime. Outside, Baghdad was still dark, but the sky was already trembling with the promise of war. Why take the money? Some said it was greed, Saddam's final act of possession. Others believed it was strategy, a war chest to fund an underground resistance. Maybe he planned to vanish into exile, buying silence and sanctuary with the people's money. Or maybe it was about control. Even in his last hours, he needed to prove that everything, even the cash in the vault, still belonged to him. By the time the first U.S. bombs struck Baghdad, the trucks were already gone. Somewhere beyond the city limits, 3 convoys melted into the desert dust. When coalition troops entered the capital weeks later, they found palaces stripped of gold, gardens littered with abandoned cars, and in one of Uday Hussein's palaces, $650 million in cash stacked behind marble walls. But $350 million was still missing, and no one, not even after Qusay's death, ever found it. U.S. officials called it ill-gotten loot. But technically, it wasn't even illegal. Saddam was the law. If he wanted $1 billion, all he had to do was ask himself for permission. That's what makes it haunting. It wasn't theft. It was the collapse of order into one man's will, a dictator signing his own ransom note. They found Saddam months later, hiding in a hole in the ground. He had no army, no kingdom, and no trace of the $1 billion he'd taken. Maybe the money burned. Maybe it sits buried under the sands of Syria. Or maybe, like every empire built on fear, it vanished with the man who thought he owned the world. Power doesn't fade in a day. It evaporates, one lie, one order, and $1 billion at a time.